Hey guys, Itaewon Sammy. I am back. I'm live, living life. So I thought I would do a little walkabout video today. I've been sitting in the house way too long. So I figured, hey, let's go for a walk on the way to work and let's do a little walkabout video about a little topic that I think might be interesting to a few of you. We're going to talk about today my experiences with the Korean criminal justice system. My personal experiences. I've had a couple. Nothing serious. So, let's start. The first time was I was maybe, let's go back 6 to 8 years ago. I'm driving my motorcycle, and at that time I didn't have a license. So I'm driving and I get hit from behind. Not serious. It was slow speed, and the driver was fully in error because I'm driving along and they come up from behind and bump into me we're on the side of the road basically. So I didn't get hurt or anything. So I pull over, and we have to pull over right in front of a police station. Get out of the road. This was in Gangnam, near the COEX shopping. Was it COEX? Yeah, near COEX. So, what happened? Now I'm not driving. I'm driving without a license. That's a big deal. So I start too. The bike won't start. The bike is not licensed to me, not registered to me. So I figure, hey, I'm gonna drive away. But the bike won't start. So the driver comes over. She doesn't speak English. I don't speak Korean. So we go into the police station. They start to fill out their report. None of them speak English. The husband calls. It was a woman. And he says, after a little while of talking with her and talking with me, he says, okay, don't fill a police report. We'll just deal with it personally. So I was like, okay. So the police just say, okay, go. Here the police don't really care about person-to-person situations. They want you to take care of it. So if two people in a situation can take care of it themselves and not let it go through the criminal justice system, police are happy to allow that to happen. They encourage it. Next, what happened was the driver agreed to pay my insurance damages, which wasn't a big deal. It was just a rear fender, and when the bike fell over, the mirror and the handlebar. So what, that was it. I let one of my Korean friends handle it. The next time, again, I was driving without a license. So I was driving and I was going down a road to make a left turn in the left turn lane. The light turned yellow. I assumed the guy in front of me would go through because that's what Korean drivers do. Because the light system here is a long yellow, like 5 seconds. And he didn't. He stopped. I couldn't stop, and I hit him. So again, police drove by. They asked if everything was okay. I said, no problem. We exchanged information. I paid him for his damages, and that was it. The next time was working at the club, and it was Halloween, actually. Yeah, it was Halloween weekend. I was working at the club. It had to be 3 years ago, and a foreigner guy, it was a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. It wasn't a busy night. I got called downstairs because on the radio, some foreigner guy was causing problems, and they asked me to come and talk to him. A lot of the staff don't speak English, so I go down and I ask him to come upstairs, let's talk. And he was upset about something. Something happened. One of the staff came upstairs. He got angry, the foreigner, and he pushed me. And I hit the back of my head on the door behind me. Not very hard, mind you, not very hard at all. He lunges at the staff member, punches him in the face, like right on. Police are right across the street, police station from the club. Security goes after him. Police are called. I go fill in a report to help my staff member because I was a witness. And they tell me, yeah, you can sign a report too because he hit you. So I did. A couple months later, I get a check for, I can't remember whether it was 1 million or 2 million won, about $2,000 to drop the complaint, which is perfectly legal in Korea. It's called blood money. So if I receive compensation that I believe is fair, I can withdraw the charges. So I got a call from a lawyer asking me, yeah, it was 1 million. It was 1 million. So about $1,000. And I just had a small bump, a little red on my head. Luckily, I'm bald, so you could see the mark. If I wasn't, and if I didn't have photographs, and if I didn't file that police report, I would have got nothing. That happens a lot here. If you are assaulted or you're damaged in any way, and it's criminal, the police will allow you, well, the way the legal system works here is the police don't file charges. The police investigate the crime and then provide the details to the prosecutor. The prosecutor decides whether to file charges. It's different than the United States or Canada or Western world. So before it went to the prosecutor, I have to make a statement after the initial report. And if I decline, then the charges are withdrawn and the matter's closed. So that's what happened. The other guy got double me because he got clocked in the face. So that was a nice Christmas bonus for me. The next time, again, was at the club. And in the club, there's a staircase going downstairs. And it was a Sunday. I remember because the previous weekend, this girl had caused a lot of problems in the club. She was going around and sitting at tables, VIP tables, and stealing drinks. People were complaining. So we kicked her out. Then she starts complaining that somebody had sexually assaulted her. Police came, took a report. What kind of report? She didn't know who it was. She didn't know what happened or whatever. Now, I wasn't involved in that. I heard about this after the fact. I don't know if it was sexual assault, but assault. But she didn't have a suspect. She just said somebody. Anyway, She was drunk, causing problems. The police just took her home. The next day, or the weekend after, it must have been the weekend after, she comes back to the club on Sunday. Again, she's drunk and she's causing problems. And she was upstairs in the lobby. Now, on Sundays, our lobby is just basically open. It's not really, because you don't pay for cover. You don't have to go through a lot. Just, here, go in, right? Type of thing. So then what happened was, my partner asked me to tell her go downstairs because she's talking to him about something that she lost or something like that, and just causing problems at the front door. And we don't have a lot of security on Sundays, just minimal people. And so I tell her to go downstairs, and she finally goes downstairs. And I'm going down the stairs behind her because I'm going to go back inside the club to work. And I turned my head to look upstairs. Somebody was calling my name, or I heard something. And I bumped into the back of her because she stopped. I didn't see. We get downstairs. I go about my business. I come back later, and my boss is telling me she's complaining that I pushed her down the stairs and she fell. So, what a blah, 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 blah. Police come, they take her report, they take my info. They said, okay, somebody will call you. I got a call a couple of days later from a police detective saying I have to come in for an interview. Now, in Korea, the law is different. You don't have to answer questions of police, but there is no like Fifth Amendment or right to refuse questions on the grounds it may incriminate you. If you don't answer questions, it makes you look guilty. So you have to. I don't know the actual law because I've not really been involved in it, but from what I understand, not answering questions is not good. That's why you have to get a lawyer. So first thing I did, I called one of my Korean friends, my older, rich Korean friends, who's been a friend of mine for 12 years. And I asked him what to do. He said, don't worry about it, just go in. I'm going to make a few phone calls. So I go in. They have a interpreter. Police detective asked me a couple of questions. I was honest. I told him, I don't know what happened. I turned my head. She said one thing. I didn't do anything. I know not to touch because that's the Korean law. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've never been in trouble. And I love my job, so I'm not going to do anything to complicate my job. And she didn't bother me. I didn't care who she was. So I have no anger towards her, so why would I touch her? So he said, okay. And I think it was maybe 3 questions. That's it. The interpreter had asked him something, and I asked her, what's going on? She goes, I've never been in an interview so short. So then they had to take me fingerprint. And and they're fingerprinting me in the back, the detective. And he doesn't speak English, but he goes to me, he goes, shh, it's okay, no problem, no problem. He says, this finished. What he was trying to tell me was that my older Korean friend, which I found out later, had made a couple phone calls to some people he knew. I don't know what he did. I never asked. He never told me. Well, I did ask. Sorry, he told me a little bit. I said, okay, it's okay, don't worry about it. But he had made a phone call to a couple of his friends. And that's what happens here in Korea. It's who you know. I mean, come on. Presidents get pardoned. The head of Samsung gets pardoned, released from jail. Okay, come on. It's all about who you know. So yeah, those are my experiences with the Korean criminal justice system. I've never done any. Oh, sorry about that. So let me take a. I've never done anything illegal. Never done anything criminal. Well, I mean, driving without a license. I didn't have the paperwork because my license had expired, and I didn't have my I couldn't get another Canadian license to exchange. So I was waiting to go get the road test to do my road test to get my Korean license. So yeah, I did do something illegal, but minor. It's not like I don't know how to drive. I did a technical illegality, but something like a victim criminal, I've never done anything like that. In the end, I think the Korean criminal justice system is really fair. From the things I've heard, from the people I've heard from the things I've witnessed, other than the fact that they don't have parole. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Oh, it's construction. So they don't have parole, or they just introduced parole recently. The other thing is that the investigation process is a little bit different than what we're used to. Depending on how rich you are, it could be very long. If you're poor, I mean, just like in any other country, it's not going to go well for you. The jails are full, and I have a story about being in Korean jail. The jails are full of people who couldn't afford a good lawyer, and just, or couldn't afford the money to pay off the victim. So, that happens here a lot. So, yeah, that's my story. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. Itaewon Sammy, Gangnam Sammy, the king of Gangnam. I'm out.